Going Through the Fires of Life with Jesus by Pastor Robert McKim. Chapter 20. Buying and owning my first mobile home in Carrollton, Ohio. I found a mobile home for $900 with a storage building and a nice porch. I bought it and we moved out right after I graduated from college in July of 2010. It needs some work, but we have been working on it a little at a time with some help from my sons. We started attending the Carrollton Christian Fellowship till one day Pastor told me that he didn't want me to be telling the other members of the church about my problems anymore. I left and have been attending the Carrollton Assembly of God. I have asked for help, and the pastor told me that there was a member of the church who had worked on mobile homes. I talked with him about my roof leaking and what was wrong with it. He and the pastor came in August of 2012 to fix it for me, but there is more to do and other things that has happened since then that needs fixed. I took the manager, Ernie Bradley, owner, Roger Perkins, and the management agency of the apartment in Scioto, Ohio, to court in 2010 about all that was happening for the past 2 years in the apartment. But they won, even though I had photos of the apartment, a videotape of the manager and his new maintenance man coming into my apartment when I wasn't home, complaining about all the property I own and taking something of mine out of my storage. I also have tape recordings of the manager talking to me about his feelings about me going to college and how he felt that the reason I had mold was because I kept it too hot in my apartment in the winter. I asked the judge if he wanted to see and hear the tapes, but he said he didn't if it was reparative to what I had spoken in court. When I asked the manager what he took out of my closet, he said that he didn't take anything. I asked him if he had said anything about me going to college and taking psychology. He said that he was happy for me going to college and that he never said anything negative about me going to college. That is not what he told me in person and what I have on tape of him saying to me. And the sad thing is that he always said that he was a Christian. Don't make me laugh. I got a bill in the mail from the court that I owe them the money. I am not going to pay them because of all the tribulation they have put me through. It is not right. No way, no how, for them to put me through all that they have put me through. The lease states that it is in their place to fix things and to take care of the safety needs of the tenants. They did not keep their end of the lease, and I have proof of it. But with the judge being Ernie Bradley's friend, he didn't want to see my evidence. My mom passed away in August of 2009, and I graduated in June of 2010. My dad met another woman and got remarried to her, but not without a marriage license. They had a wedding and a marriage ceremony. Now that brings us to the past 2 years of living in Carrollton, Ohio, and in my own home. After I graduated in June of 2010, I bought the 1972 mobile home in July of 2010. I got a new job working as a job coach in Carrollton, Ohio. I was driving 60 miles one way for a 4-hour job that was only going to be for the summer. I was told by my supervisor that she might have other work after August, but I found out that they let me go because my fiancée/wife, Renee, went with me to Carrollton and was in the shopping mall where I was working at. Even though I wasn't officially working for Big Lots, they called my supervisor on me. She was saying that my fiancée/wife knows what my clients looked like, and that was a breach of confidentiality. The thing is that there have been friends from Newcomerstown, Ohio, who came into both the Carrollton Hospital and Big Lots in Carrollton Ohio, who saw me and the teens I was working with. Another thing is that my supervisor was very negative and saying things about my clients that was incorporate. I went to the vocational rehabilitation office that I was working with for help with college transportation and work experience for a meeting about the job I was doing. My job counselor, along with my supervisor and the owner of Creative Rehab, was telling me that because how I was on the job and because I was a very religious man, and for having all these people coming into my work sites along with Renee coming with me on my last day was a breach of confidentiality. What got me is when he said to me that this is how I am because of what happened back in 2000 when I made the threat on the mayor that got me in trouble with the law, and it goes to show what kind of man I really am. He told me that I should have my own business if I want to help people, because I am not cut out for working with others. He also cut me off all further help with the vocational rehabilitation office without justification. I felt that he totally forgot about the ethical guidelines for counselors. I felt that I was being discriminated because of my past and me being a minister. I called and talked to his supervisor, and I was given a new job counselor and work briefly in 2011 for 3 weeks for a job assessment. I did that and was told by my new job counselor that I did a good job, but the job coach that was working with me reported that my shirts wasn't ironed and had wrinkles. Wow, how petty people can be nowadays. The sad thing is that my job coach was a minister. Makes you wonder. I earned a degree from Belmont Technical College from 2007 through 2010. It took just a little over 2 years for me because of the class schedule. I had the Pell and Ohio grants until the governor took away the Ohio grants. The grants paid for most of my classes and books, but I had to take out a small loan for one semester because I went through the summer and took another loan later to get another vehicle. Pell Grants will only pay for 3 semesters at a time. I got a job right after graduation, but that job as a job coach didn't last long, and I was let go because I took Renee with me to Carrollton, to the shopping plaza. It was stupid reasons, and mainly because I am a Christian minister. I was told by the job counselor that it was my ministry getting me into trouble, and I told him that I love helping people in need, and he said that I should start my own business then. A ministry is not a business. I use my degree, applied science and mental health, along with my pastoral counseling to help people in need. I have a master's and doctorate degree in religion, and I also have an honorary Doctor of Divinity degree. I am not stupid by a long shot. I am just sick and lame in my body. My wife is also sick and lame with cerebral palsy and other health problems. I later started to have problems with my sexual desires. I would feel as though at times, even though I wanted it, I just could not get things going from my brain to other parts of my body. It was as though there is a blockage in my head, and I thought either it could be my diabetes or my hormones. I had blood work done, and it showed that my testosterone was low, and my doctor put me on androgel to help me with my low testosterone. I feel that my diabetes is one of the reasons of my low testosterone, as well as my age. Later on heard that there is something called type 3 diabetes of the brain, and that is what is causing Alzheimer. I have been feeling a pressure in my forehead area, and I had an MRI to check my sinus area, and nothing was wrong there. I feel as though my diabetes is starting to affect my brain, and I want everyone to know before anything happens to me about what has been happening in my life. Renee was started taking computer science in 2009 with Belmont Technical College, and in 2010 at Stark State College. After Renee had some issues with the math and an instructor at the college because she had been having coughing spells from her asthma, Renee had to withdraw from one class, but stayed in another class. Renee changed her major to business management. Then Renee came down with cellulitis during the summer semester in July of 2012. Back in January of 2011, I filed for the homestead tax exemption and never heard anything, so I went back June to ask if they decided on my application. I was told that I was not disabled because I have to be on full Social Security disability. The auditor told me that I was not disabled. He gave me a paper to take to my doctor to have him fill out. I looked at the paper and saw that it said that SSI is an acceptable form of disability. Another thing that they were saying was that since my SSDI papers say that I am under review every 3 years, because the Social Security doctors think that I will get better, and that was telling them in their mind that I am not disabled. How dumb can elected officials be? I called the Social Security, and they gave me a letter stating that I am on Social Security and that I have been on it since 2003. I called and talked to a county commissioner, and he told me to come in and talk to him about this problem. I took the form that the auditor gave me and the letter from the Social Security. He said that he would run it over to the auditor for me. After that, I had a problem with my fuel tank leaking, and even before I had found another one, it took about 3 months to get someone to haul it in to me. I had another problem with getting someone to come and hook it up for me. I would call this one guy, and he would keep saying that he would come before Thanksgiving, and another time he said he would come by after Christmas and before New Year's, but he never showed up. One guy stopped by and said that he would have to get help and come back. I never heard anything from him again. Then I called someone. He said they wouldn't even do the job. After all the calling and being told this and that from people, I finally got someone to come and hook up the other tank and haul the old one away. In the December of 2011, Renee and I have been having lots of diarrhea. We went to the Autumn State Care here in Carrollton, Ohio, to get checked out. We gave them a sample of our stool. We got a phone call from them a few days later telling us that we had Giardia. Giardia is a microscopic parasite that causes the diarrheal illness known as giardiasis. Giardia, also known as Giardia intestinalis, Giardia lamblia, or Giardia duodenalis, is found on surfaces or in soil, food, or water that has been contaminated with feces from infected humans or animals. Giardia is protected by an outer shell that allows it to survive outside the body for long periods of time and makes it tolerant to chlorine disinfection. While the parasite can be spread in different ways, water, drinking water from recreational water, is the most common method of transmission. They had to report this to our county health department because it is a reportable illness. The nurse from the health department called to talk to us. She was asking us where we drink, where we eat, and they left it at that. The nurse said that they will not test our village water because there is chlorine in the water. The thing that gets me is that chlorine will not kill Giardia. The only thing that will kill Giardia is iodine, and to boil the water before drinking it. One day when I was walking up from getting the mail, my landlord wanted to talk to me about going around asking about the water and saying we were getting sick from the water. He told me that I had to move my mobile home off his land because he thinks it is my mobile home making us sick and not the village water. I was very upset, and I just let it slide and kept paying the rent, and nothing else was said about it. It is not right for a landlord to accuse their tenant, like I have been accused for the past 4 years now, by 2 different landlords. Nothing that has been going on is my fault. Why can't they learn when they are pointing a finger at me? There are 3 pointing back at them. They need to learn to take some, if not all, of the blame themselves. Another thing that happened was when I called on a Friday in 2011 and was talking to the great-grandparents of a little girl who also has spina bifida occulta, just like I have, that I saw in the Mr. Thrifty paper. She is having other health problems that I am having, and all I was doing was checking up on her and telling them how I am and the troubles I have to live in a world that doesn't care or understand. I asked for them to tell their church to pray for me, and that was all. The following Monday, I received a phone call from the sheriff's office saying that I was trying to get money from them. Why would Christians lie like that on another Christian? Not only a Christian, but a minister of Christ and God. Then again, why are there so many people that say they are Christian that don't have love for their neighbor? In January of 2012, I made an appointment back with Harkadis to get emergency HEAP. But I need now because after the guy came to fill my tank, he said that it was leaking and he couldn't fill it. I had another tank hooked up and it was empty. I went in as a walk into Harkadis and told them that I was sick and needed help now. They didn't care and told me that I had to wait over all those who had appointments. They even called the police on me. They said I was being disorderly. I told the officer that I was sick and thought it was my diabetes. I later found out I was coming down with the flu. I have a disabled fiance/wife at home, and I needed the help now. He told me that he knew about my problems because he was the officer who came to my home when I called the fire department once because of fumes in my mobile home from having too much water in my tank. I had to wait and sit in there quietly till they can help me. It was too late in the day before I got in to get the help I needed. I had to wait 2 days for the fuel to be delivered. I got this alarm system to protect my home when we were not at home, and at night when we were asleep. I found out that the salesman that came to install the alarm had forged the contract and was charging us $1 more a month than what was agreed on over the phone. After contacting my attorneys and the state attorney general and filing a lawsuit, I got all my money back. After all this and things was going good, Renee became sick with a bad case of cellulitis and sepsis in her left foot and leg. She was in Union Hospital from July 22nd till July 27th, and then she was in a nursing home from July 27th till August 10th of 2012. After she recovered from the cellulitis and sepsis, she went back to classes in the spring of 2013. She started having bronchitis real bad and had to withdraw a month before she was done with classes. Then during June, in between the spring and summer semesters, Renee got the cellulitis and sepsis again, but this time it was causing her blood pressure to go up and down, so the doctors put her in the ICU so they could butt a central IV line into her neck to get more faster and better way of getting the antibiotics in her. After she was in there for a few days, they put her in another room till the doctor released her to go home. The doctor wanted her to go into a nursing home, but she would have been too far from home because, one, the doctor no longer had privilege at the nursing home in Minerva, Ohio. Renee decided to come home and have home health to come and help her along with my help with all the knowledge, training, and working in the home health field. Another reason was because she wanted to go and see our foot doctor, who was also a wound doctor. He didn't like what he saw and was worried that she had a blood clot in her leg, but she didn't. She was laid up all summer and was better to take the fall semester in 2013. She received a D and an F and fell under the federal guidelines for standards of academic progress. Stark State College would not grant another medical withdrawal or forgive her for falling under the standards of academic progress. After filing discrimination with the U.S. Department of Education, they took Renee's case and gave her an attorney to help her. She had a meeting with her attorney and Stark State College on June 5, 2014. After the representatives with Stark State College talked with Renee and her attorney, they decided that she should talk with the Ohio Bureau of Vocational Rehabilitation to get a job. The funny thing is, well, it's not really that funny at all. It is just plain stupid in my opinion. The Disability Department caseworker wants to set in with Renee and the Ohio Bureau of Vocational Rehabilitation counselor. Renee found out if she could come up with $40 for an application fee, she could return to college with Kent State College and start over with her GPA. The thing is, coming up with the $40 with all the financial problems we have been having after Stark State kicked Renee out and threw her under the bus with her education and a chance for a better life. Now I know there are some out there that will say that people with disabilities are not worth the salt, so to speak, of their tax dollars to get an education, because if you can't work with your hands to make your own way in life, you are just a slave to the system. This is what was said to me in many words, but this is just to sum it up.